Hello, good afternoon. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now with me, Vinny Motiwala, along with me, Shell Diswas as well. Shell, a very good afternoon to you as well. And markets seems like, they gave up all those morning gains, 19,700 and around those levels. It's what it's holding on to as of now.
Absolutely, Vinny. The markets actually saw a very sharp decline after actually starting the day on a very flat footing. As you can see it on your screen right now, Nifty is barely holding on to 19,700 mark. Yes, we did drift below that level as well. But for now, over 100 point cut coming in for Nifty. Let's take a look at what Nifty Bank is doing, because that one is underperforming the benchmark indices. About a % cut coming in for Nifty Bank, 400 points gone or 470 points gone for Nifty Bank. Talking about the broader markets here, small cap index actually hold on to some sort of a gain for most part of the trading session. That one also has caved in right now. As you can see, 0.2% downtick coming for small cap index, mid cap index also in the negative territory. Talking about the stocks that you need to watch out for is what we are going to take you through in the next 1 hour of the show. But yes, watch out for all the stocks that are going to come out with their earnings today. So you have LTI Mindtree, Wipro, Bajaj Auto, as well as IndusInd Bank. They're set to report their numbers among the other mid-cap players. But for now, markets definitely looking subdued, Vinny.
Markets looking subdued as of now. But on that note, let's get started with those individual movers in trade. And on the technical front to talk about it today in terms of stocks, we have Sumeet Mulchhandani, while from the research team we have Amakshi as well as the Shesha joining in with us. A very good afternoon to all three of y'all as well. Let's move on and let me start with the first stock that we're keeping an eye out on, and that is L&T Tech. This is on the back of its numbers. When you look at the numbers, yes, they were largely in line with what the street was expecting, but margins was a beat as well despite the wage hike that came in. CC growth came in at 3.2% on a quarter-on-quarter basis versus estimates of 3%. Revenue growth of around 4% as well. Margins remaining almost flattish on a quarter-on-quarter basis. What was a negative surprise was that the guidance was cut to 17.5 to 18.5% in CC growth for FY24 from previous guidance of 20%. So on the back of that, today we've seen that the stock is falling in trade. Also, we had Morgan Stanley, which came out with a note, and they are maintaining the underperform on L&T Tech with a target price of 4,000 rupees per share. What they also believe is that despite the good results, the fall is coming in because the revenue growth guidance was cut, and that was a negative surprise that is leading to the fall in the stock price as well. Today, as of now, the stock is down 5% in trade.
All right, that is L&T Tech that's down about 5% in trade. But Sumeet, very good afternoon to you. And do you think now is the time to venture into L&T Tech, or one should just stay put with their holdings, or actually not venture into the stock right now? No doubt over the last 6 months, the stock has performed well. But do you think that they will be able to perform well and shrug off this earnings downtick that it's seen?
Hi, good afternoon to all. So, if you see the chart, so it is right now in the consolidation in the whole September to October month, so almost from the last 1.5 months. But the level of 4520 today in the opening session, it was a gap down and broken the important level also of the 4500 and currently trading nearby the 4380. So we would just advise the retailers to exit as of now, because we expect a more downside till the levels of 4260 and 4140 also. Today the stock has broken the 50-day moving average, and it can touch till the levels of 100 moving day average. So suggestion will be to exit from the stock.
Okay, let's also listen into what L&T Tech management had to say in terms of the margins, the growth forward, what is their guidance, and why the cut mainly coming in for the FY24 guidance. Listen in.
While growth momentum has continued, the pace has been slow on account of decision-making delays and some stress in the sub-billion customer set. We continue to see growth in IP, which will be driven by digital products and digital manufacturing. In telecom and high-tech, we grew by 2% sequentially despite challenges in the Semcon and consumer electronics portfolios. In semiconductors, we are engaging more on the new age chipsets that are designed for AI and cloud computing workloads, which has allowed us to keep growing despite the challenges. Now the international deals are being won. Some of the Smart World resources are being used. NGC resources are being leveraged for that. There is work that is happening in India where we are leveraging some of the LTTS heritage resources as well. So it's now become one team. So we are guiding at this stage 17.5 to 18.5 and comfortable with the upper part of the spectrum.
All right, let's stay with the earnings then. And the next one that's on our radar is IIFL Securities. That particular counter came out with its numbers. It's gaining for a third consecutive trading session. If you look at the stock price, a sharp spurt is what the stock is registered. It's actually hit highest level since about 2002, in fact, much more than that. The company's consolidated net profits saw an uptick of as much as 93% in the year in the quarter gone by. The number stood at around 108 crore rupees on a year-on-year basis. That's the jump that the company reported in this profit. While the revenue from operations, as a consolidated number, saw an uptick of as much as 60% on a year-on-year basis. And post such a sharp uptick coming in the earnings for the quarter gone by, you can see the stock doing cartwheels in trade today, almost 17.3% uptick coming in for IIFL Securities.
Okay, let's move on to the next stock on the technical, and that is Sun TV, Sumit. When you look at this one, we've seen a sharp run-up coming in the last 6 months, almost around a 56% return. What is the upside you're expecting for Sun TV? Are you actually expecting an upside for Sun TV now?
Previously, the 630 was acting as a resistance zone, and if you see from the last 2-3 sessions, it is giving us the closes. It is giving us the close above. So we are expecting much more higher. In the short term, we are expecting the target of 711. So on the lower time frame, it has given the breakout of the cup and handle breakout also. So one can keep a today's low as a stop loss, that is around 640 levels. So if anybody is already holding, it can be trailing as well. So 640 and target can be 711.
All right, that is Sun TV for you. Let's move on and let's talk about Hudco then, Vamakshi, and why is this one in focus today?
Well, Cheryl, this stock is in focus today because the company has announced that the government is actually planning to sell up to nearly 7% stake in the company via offer for sale, that is an OFS. The floor price of this OFS has been set at 79 rupees per share, which when we compare to yesterday's closing price is actually coming in at a discount of almost 12%. Now the offer is expected to open for retail investors tomorrow, but the offer has opened for non-retail investors today itself. So largely on the back of Government of India selling nearly 7% stake via OFS, this stock is reeling under pressure. As of now, the stock is down about 10%.
Okay, that is Hudco for you all. Let's move on and talk about Spark then. And Sumit, on the charts, what is Spark indicating now? Today the stock is surely running away in trade. Should we expect this run-up to continue?
We'll wait a little bit to give the closing above the levels of 240. Current market price is 240 and high today is 247. So it is a previous swing high. So we will just wait here. The stock has taken a perfect bounce from the 100-day moving average, and it was the previous swing low also. And above the closing of 240, it will give the breakout of cup and handle on the daily basis. So we are expecting the U-bottom recovery till the levels of 260 and 280. So if you compare the risk-reward ratio, it is a 20 points and the target is almost to the 40 points. So 1:2, it is a good risk-reward ratio.
All right, moving on, let's talk about Huhtamaki then, Ashesha, and looks like this one is an earnings candidate, isn't it?
Well, yes, it is an earnings candidate and the stock is flying in trade today, nearly 11% higher. All the revenues have seen a decline. It's the bottom line that has caught the eye. So revenues have come in at 644 crores, which is a decline of about 14.5% on a year-on-year basis. But margins have expanded a whole lot. They've come in at 4.2% versus margins of just 0.9% that the company had reported same time last year. As far as profitability is concerned, that too is quite impressive. Company has reported net profit of about 32 crores versus a net profit of just 0.04 that the company reported same time last year. Management commentary, meanwhile, is also quite positive. They say that they have been facing challenges as far as the business environment is concerned, but commercial actions and intensified cost-cutting initiatives have yielded results in the quarter gone by. Very strong set of numbers. Street clearly is impressed with the kind of numbers the company has reported, and the stock is holding up with gains of over 11% as we speak.
Okay, strong set of numbers coming in there, but let's move on. want to talk about Tata Elxsi as well, because we're seeing the stock moving in trade on the back of its numbers as well. We're seeing the numbers were slight bit of a beat and coming ahead of what the street was expecting, as well as what we at ET now are expecting as well. Good margin performance despite the headwinds that we saw. Auto growth was something that was steady. MNC saw a bit of a decline, while Europe also saw a faster growth, and top client also exposure has increased over there. So overall, that was a good set of numbers. They saw revenue growth of around 3.7% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. Margins have remained flat largely on a quarter-on-quarter basis. So keeping an eye out on Tata Elxsi. Now, what is coming in as a brokerage note? We have brokerage note from Morgan Stanley. They're maintaining an underperformed rating, underweight rating with a target price of 6,400 for Tata Elxsi. They believe that the strong Q2 trends with positive trends in healthcare and transportation and positive bias in terms of the management commentary is something that is keeping their rating stable as well, and the demand outlook seems stable. So yes, keeping an eye out on Tata Elxsi. Premium valuation makes the risk reward a bit unfavorable for Morgan Stanley. So let's keep an eye on this one today. It's gaining with gaining in trade as of now, 2.2% gains as of now.
All right, that's Tata Elxsi for you. That is in focus on back of its numbers. The brokerage reports are also coming in on that particular counter. But Sumit, what's your take coming in on Tata Elxsi? How is this particular counter looking to you on the chart? Do you think it's a mid-cap company that one can risk venturing in it right now, or should someone wait? Sumit, you will need to unmute your mic. You're inaudible.
Sorry. So we are telling that there are the 2-3 technical factors which is showing the breakout today. One is that trend line breakout, then it is a horizontal breakout, and 7500 was a strong resistance zone. Previously also in the September first week, it has turned down from the same level. But today it is the open low, and the same 7500 is acting as a support. So we would just advise to take a fresh position here, and one can keep a stop loss of 7250. We are expecting the new highs till the levels of 8200 and 8700. So time span can be 2 to 4 months here.
All right, moving on, let's talk about Astra Micro, and that particular counter has hit a fresh record high levels in today's trading session. Approximately 15% uptick is last time when I checked the stock was trading around. Right now it's given up some of those gains, and the stock is trading higher by approximately 8% or so. The company has said that it signed a transfer of technology pact for mini synthetic aperture radar, and the technology pact is with New Space India, Bengaluru, as well as the Indian National Space Promotion and Authorization Center, that is also known as InSpace. And along with that, the partnership is also with the Department of Space, Ahmedabad. This is what the company said in the filing. And post that particular tech pact that it has formed with these government organizations, you can see Astra Micro has seen a sharp uptick, 15% at one point in time, hitting a record high. Right now, the stock is trading higher by approximately 8% as we speak.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. And Havells is a stock that you've picked out for us, Sumit. Tomorrow, the company is set to report its numbers as well. How are you positioning yourself in Havells right now? What are you expecting in terms of the stock move?
Stock is showing the weakness today. It is an open high candidate, and if you see a range that was around the 1370 levels. So stock was taking the support from last almost 1 month, but today it has broken the levels, and today it is trading just nearby the 100 moving day average, also broken the 50-day moving average. So we are just expecting a little bit downside from here. So it can take a little bit trendline support that is nearby the 1300 levels, but it is almost 3 to 4% downside from here. So it is better to get out with some quantity and book your profits here. If any F&O player is there, one can keep a stop loss of today's high, that is 1385, for the target of 1265 here.
All right, that is Havells for you. Vamakshi, coming to you, let's talk about Happiest Minds then, and how are the earnings for this particular stock?
Well, Cheryl, when we look at the numbers, they are looking to be quite good. When we look at the revenue, that did grow about 3.6% sequentially in the constant currency terms. EBITDA margin, however, saw a bit of a decline. It was at 25.5%, and it has now declined sequentially to 24.4%. So margins did moderate, and that was mainly on account of wage hikes. But nevertheless, the company has gone ahead and retained their EBITDA guidance of nearly 22 to 24%. Net profit was largely flat, coming in at 58 odd crores. Now they did have some 7 odd client additions in the quarter. But more importantly, more than the results, the stock is actually reacting to the cut in guidance. Now they have gone ahead and cut their FY24 revenue growth guidance to nearly 12% on an organic basis, and that is what is actually impacting the stock this time around, along with the moderation in margins. So largely on the back of their numbers, we do have Happiest Minds in focus today. As of now, the stock is down nearly 2.5%.
Let's move on and talk about Vighnahara Diagnostics on the charts then. And Sumeet, in the last 1 month, 20% return. Last 6 months, the stock has managed to give around 53% return. What is the view coming in for Vighnahara Diagnostics? At the current price of 580, is it still a buy?
If you see the stock is today, that's the new 52-week high. But we would just advise, if anybody is holding, can hold the stock with the stop loss of 440. And also we would just advise to utilize the tips till the levels of 550. The currently stock is trading nearby 580. We are expecting a new high, and next level can be 650 and 700. So utilize the dips.
All right, that's the take coming in on Vighnahara Diagnostics. Ashesha, coming to you, Orient Cement. What's the reason for that big spike in the stock today?
Well, yes, it is on the basis of an Economic Times report. ET has reported, citing sources, that industrialist C.K. Birla has approached Gautam Adani to sell his promoter stake in Orient Cement. Remember, promoters currently hold about 37.9% stake in Orient Cement, which at the current market price is valued at about 1,540 crores. Report also says that senior management executives from both the sides have also met to discuss a potential deal. Company, remember, had earlier initiated offers from several domestic cement players, but they failed to meet his expectations with respect to valuations, and hence the deal didn't go through. So on the back of this report, the stock is surging in trade today. Although Orient Cement managing director has already clarified that he is unaware of any such development, and Adani Group has also not answered emails to Economic Times. But basis this report, the stock is surging in trade. It is off the day's highest point, but despite that, gaining nearly 9.5%.
Okay, keeping an eye on that one. Let's move on, talk about Manaxia. Sumit, this is not a stock that we've spoken about regularly, nor have I seen it making your list. So what is it that you have picked up this stock for? What is the target that you're keeping an eye out on over here?
Today in the opening session, the stock was up by almost 6%. Right now, there is some profit booking, but we would just advise to wait the close above the 155. Current market price is 150, and it is a strong resistance. Today, it is picking up the volume also, and taken a perfect bounce from the 130 levels. So we would just advise to wait for the level 155, conditional buy for the targets of 190 and 213. So it can be a good candidate and a multi-bagger also. So just keep a stop loss of 138 here.
Okay, keep an eye on those levels for the stock. Let's move on, talk about Zensar Tech. This too is in focus on the back of its Q2 numbers. Solid performance coming in on the margin front for the company. The revenues of around $150 million on a sequential basis has seen a growth of around 0.6% in reported currency terms and 0.2% in constant currency terms as well. Now, overall, good set of numbers came in from the company. The margins were maintained at 15.7%, which is up 40 basis points on a quarter-on-quarter basis, and this is despite the wage hike that the company has seen. Profits also managing to see decent growth of 14%, and overall US region sequentially slight bit of a decline on that front, but European region has seen a growth of around 11.3% on a sequential basis. Banking and financial services reported a sequential revenue growth of 3% as well. So decent set of numbers that actually came in from the management. Management said that they will try to maintain the margins in the mid-teen range. Let's keep an eye out on Zensar Tech. Not a bad set of numbers, but surely the stock has given up all its gains as of now, trading with cuts of 3%.
All right, that's Zensar Tech for you. But Sumit, let's talk about Cipla and what's exactly happening in that particular counter. In today's trading session, a sharp spike is what Cipla has actually witnessed. But do you think that this sort of a spike will continue for the stock, given the fact that a lot of buzz around the stake sale also actually working its way at the stock price, isn't it?
Chart is also showing the moment. It is a positive side, and the stock has made a double bottom of 1150 and perfectly bounced from these levels. So we are expecting a little bit movement for the next 1 week, and short-term targets can be 1270 and 1313 here. So one can keep a stop loss of 1170. So yes, they can take a benefit of this moment.
Okay, that's the view coming in on Cipla. But on that note, viewers, we're going to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more stocks after this break.